When you say, if you have a Coke bottle, do you mind just...
I mind if you don't acknowledge it for a second time? No change. Acknowledgement, please, clown show.
I think, to be fair, I agree with you, but there's...
Well then shut up! You've just wasted 10 minutes of our life!
Are newcomers allowed to talk on this?
Of course, anybody can talk.
Well, it depends on what your peeping is, dog.
Well, I have a little thought experiment that I've been thinking about. Can I share?
Yeah, what that
Go
was.
ahead. Go ahead.
Are we? You guys like closed systems, don't you? So we're quite comfortable with a closed system.
We understand what a closed
So,
system is.
if the kind of general behavior of a system changes, but nothing on inside of it's changed, it doesn't seem like a closed system. Something on the outside is affecting it.
Well, what's the definition of a closed system?
If I have a balloon and magically say all the air rushes to one side, it doesn't see something must have happened. That hasn't happened spontaneously.
Can you show me that happening first?
No, this is all hypothetical. This is me just, do we understand that if something changes dramatically, something has probably affected it?
Can you give me an example of something that does actually happen in reality, though, so I can think about it as opposed to...
Well, I'll move on maybe, because that's besides the point. Do you know that jar that you guys talk about with all the fluids of different densities? And they arrange themselves with the highest density at the bottom.
The density tower.
And like oil and...
Yeah.
Yeah. If that's what you call it. Okay. Imagine if you put a lid on that. If you like screwed a top on or something. Would anything change?
No.
No, I don't think anything would. If you put a lid on it, if you screwed it on the top, make sure it was very nicely sealed, and you put that in a vacuum, would anything change? I don't think it would, but would you think if it was sealed, if it was nicely sealed with a screw top,
hypothetically
would anything change?
Hypothetically sealed, strong enough to not have any impact. Would anything change inside the container if the outside was a container? Was a vacuum? No, I don't think so.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't change. No. Right. Now, you're on Earth, though, aren't you? Imagine somehow you've made a vacuum chamber on Earth. That's really good. It's a perfect vacuum. And we're on Earth. This is just a thought experiment. I don't want to have to go find a vacuum chamber that works. You have this jar. All the fluids are stacked up in the right order, and it's sealed. It's in a vacuum. Nothing, no atmospheric or air conditions are affecting it. You don't like atmospheric, so I won't say that. Imagine if you turn this jar upside down, just in your hand, with a robot, with a clamp, with something. What would happen to the fluids inside this jar?
They'd mix up and then find equilibrium again.
That is pretty much spot on. That is exactly what I would have said. Now, what's interesting is if you look at the jar, the insides of the jar haven't actually changed. If you were say fixed with the jar, and you turned upside down, the jar remained in the same orientation relative to you because you were fixed with the jar. But the jar relative to the vacuum chamber and relative to the rest of whatever we live on has turned upside down. How come the fluids have changed? What's caused these liquids to rearrange themselves?
They didn't.
Nothing from the outside has changed.
They didn't. I said they mixed up and then found the same exact equilibrium. They didn't change.
How would they mix up and find the same equilibrium then?
Because the equilibrium remains.
They rearranged
exactly the
them
then. Sorry, is it just me answering with you talking over the top of my answer?
I think my Discord's lagging a little bit. I can't quite. When you there. Okay, you're back now.
Yeah.
So say you had like a wine bottle.
I get the chance to answer your question and correct your error. Maybe you're just talking definitely. Yeah. At this point, right? I'm gonna hold off telling you off. I'll just give you a calm, polite request. When I talk,
I'd appreciate that.
When I talk, do not talk. Like I didn't talk through you. Yeah? Simple. So, you assert that they changed. No, they didn't. They returned from whence they came because you altered them by injecting some physical motion by turning it, but then it returned to exactly the same way it was before. It found its equilibrium again. Nothing changed, as you asserted. That's wrong. Sorry, did you just talk through me before the end of my sentence? I think you did, didn't you? Am I going to have to start swearing at you? You're now doing it continually, aren't you? Shut the fuck up while I talk, you ignorant prick. I will reach the end of my statement without you fucking talking. Do you understand? That's not rhetorical. I expect a yes.
Yes, but do you mind...
Now shut up!
Come to the end.
Shut the fuck up then! You stupid moron. Immediately give me the answer I'm asking for and then fucking waffle on. I'm not giving you permission to carry on. I'm telling you to shut up. How stupid are you? That's rhetorical. Don't answer. So, you incorrectly asserted that there was a change and asked me to justify said change that did not occur. You put some input by altering the orientation of the jar, and then it returned to equilibrium. No change. Return to equilibrium.
Was that the end? Sorry.
If you just turn the container, then the orientation has not changed.
Imagine, so if you had something like a wine bottle with a very clear top and a very clear bottom.
Yeah, we've heard the example. Was the stunned silence followed by, do I have permission to talk? Was that an acknowledgement that you didn't have a point upon there being no change to justify? Was that what just happened?
Of course, it's a wine bottle.
I'm not sure the point you're trying to make. But
I'm not making a point, you fucking clown. This is your point. Are you retarded? You asked for permission to make a point, and now you're asking me what my point is. No, you don't have a point unless there's a change to justify after you've altered something in this example that we're hypothetically imagining. Now, there's no justification for any change because there hasn't been one, other than the one you induced when you altered the orientation and everything then returned to equilibrium. Now, beyond that, you don't have a point, it seems. You, not me.
So the wine bottle, So
you don't have a point, it seems. Not time for a new example, clown show. An acknowledgement that you didn't actually seem to have a point in all of that nonsense.
I like to think there was a point, yeah.
What was your point?
The closed system of the bottle internally did not change. All you changed was its orientation, but it was in a vacuum. Something outside the bottom has caused the fluids within it to rearrange.
No, they didn't rearrange. Did you not just listen to my response that was shouted at you? There was no change. It returned to equilibrium. So your point is to reintroduce this assertion that I've already corrected? You're going to piss me off. No change.
When you say... if you have a Coke bottle, do you mind just...
I mind if you don't acknowledge it for a second fucking time? No change. Acknowledgement, please, clown show.
I think so. To be fair, I agree with you, but there's.
Well, then shut up! You've just wasted 10 minutes of our life. You absolute retard. Sit down. You don't have a point. You've wasted our time. Do you understand that, you stupid dick? You've just literally wasted 10 minutes of our life.
Well, at least.
So you do not have a point. You utter retard.
Good for you, Nathan. Do you mind?
Good for me? What, you being a clown wasting everybody's time is good for me, is it? No. You've just got no humility and you're now trying to project this onto it being a waste of my time, which it absolutely is. You have wasted everyone's time with this total nonsense that went nowhere and had no point. That was what I was trying to get you to concede and have an ounce of humility and say, yes, I appreciate this total shite, had no point. And that silence that I highlighted when I point out that without the change, you have no point. You are still yet to acknowledge that. No point. Waste of our time.
The liquids in that bottle have not...
Own time for a new example. Maybe a rendition of the same shit. You had
But they have changed relative to the bottle, Nathan.
Are we going to go around this fucking circle another 5 times? Because this cunt doesn't seem to understand that we appreciate... Go on, Q.
I got a question. What was the point of the vacuum chamber? What point was that?
You got... I don't quite... You guys seem to like to find... I'm just trying to get this system as isolated as possible, really. You like kind of talking about densities and buoyancy, and I just wanted to make sure nothing could affect it. All I'm doing is trying to set up a almost perfect experiment.
I see. So you heard this word isolated used by people who understand what science is, and you've interpreted this word isolated to mean stick in a vacuum, even though it's completely pointless and meaningless. Even though when we talk about isolation, we are talking about the isolation of independent, dependent, and control variables. So when we say isolated, we don't mean in that way.
No, that's fair enough. I understand.
I'm a stuttering fucking retard. From now on, sit down, shut up, and understand how stupid you are and how little you have to offer to this conversation. No, I want some humility.
Example. I just wanted to make clear.
I don't care what you want, you fucking idiot. I expect humility from here on out, and you're damn well gonna give it me. Accept and appreciate that you had no point and therefore wasted everybody's time. Have some humility. Don't tell me what you want, like I care.
Doesn't seem like great discourse, to be honest.
Oh, right. You think it's reasonable to fucking waste everybody's time and then go on to a new example that's absolutely without question going to waste our time without acknowledgement of the total waste of time you've already had us endure? That seems like reasonableness, does it? No. I expect that you say sorry. I'm sorry I wasted these people's time. But you don't. You don't have any sorrow for your fuckwittery that you've subjected us all to. You don't care. You just want another crack of the whip and to moan about how unreasonable this discourse is and how much more reasonable it would be if we listened to your fuckwittery for another 20 minutes.
I mean, I listened to yours for an hour and a half.
I don't give a fuck what you do. You're getting told off. You think I owe you something, you stupid twat? No, I don't.
But do I owe you an apology?
Yes, for your fuckwittery that you wasted all our time with.
What were you trying to prove anyway?